Psalms 110:5. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He will fill the places with their dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashanah Washai Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors to the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners who look like the heathen nations, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the great millstone, coming at you with another lesson in truth. This is a video that was put up by the brother Nathan Yawasop called They Covet Fields.
We came here and created a blank slate. We birthed a nation from nothing. I mean, there's nothing here. I mean, yes, we have Native Americans, but candidly, that.
So he said that the Gadites, the holy people that were here, with all the evidences and all the different books and resources that prove that the people, and the Bible most importantly, that prove that the people who are here in the Americas were indeed of the tribes of Israel. Okay. This man just said that we were nothing. We were nothing.
There isn't much Native American culture in American culture.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
It's important, then, that we have a look at some history. What is white supremacy? White supremacy, or white supremacism, is a racist ideology based upon the belief that white people are superior in many ways to people of other races, and that therefore white people should be dominant over other races.
Now remember, white is something that they made up in 1681 in Virginia. And when you look at this man's skin, he's red. And the Bible speaks about the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. These are your true red people. Native Americans were brown. Many looked just like Negroes, especially back then. All right, before all the forced rape, which is he's going to talk about. All right, you also have to remember that a lot of natives got reclassified as Negroes.
The term is also typically used to describe a political ideology that perpetuates and maintains the social, political, historical, or institutional domination by white people. Bit of history. Famous figure, Benjamin Franklin. If it be the design of Providence to extirpate these savages in order to make room for cultivators of the earth, it seems not improbable that rum may be the appointed means.
Now let's look that up, because they were giving Gad firewater. So I'm gonna look that word up. Escapate. Second. This is weird. I never did that before. root out, destroy completely, extirpate, to root out, destroy completely. Use every legal measure to extirpate this horrible evil from the land. And that's how they looked at my people, at my brothers, my sisters. They, as it says in Psalms, in Micah, how they cover fields and take them by violence. As a matter of fact, let's get Second Ezra. No, not Second Ezra, but Sirach 10 and 8. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Well, there's a part 2 to manifest destiny. All right, the kingdom is going to get translated to us by extreme violence, all under the authority of who the world ignorantly calls God, because he's going to initiate this violence.
And of course it was. Right? It's an expression of we ought to be the ones to take this land because after all, we'll work it properly. We'll use it in the ways that it was meant to be used because after all, we know how to use it. And we know the ways in which...
Now, is that so? Because since they've been in control, you can't drink the water, breathe the air. The meat is poison. There's viruses everywhere. There's all kind of sickness and illnesses. As a matter of fact, there was no gonorrhea, no syphilis, no herpes, no AIDS, no lupus, no fever, no flus, no HN anything. All that came with these people, his people, the true red man, who is Esau Edom, who now calls himself white.
It was intended to be used. And these folks don't. 1776, as the United States of America comes into existence, a reflection. He, the king, has excited domestic insurrections among us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions.
So when you fight and defend yourself, you basically become a terrorist. I mean, we've seen that narrative over and over again. The U.S. forces and the Allied forces going to different parts of what they with the so-called Middle East. That's another name that they made up. All right, and or different places in Africa, when they want resources and you're not playing ball with them when they want your resources, you just simply get labeled as a terrorist and dehumanized, and now that makes it okay for them to drop bombs and send soldiers in, boots on the ground, to shoot, kill, blow up, maim, and take away your land. And then when you try to fight back, they call you a savage and a terrorist for defending yourself.
A reflection on this perception of the godless heathen savage that has no moral conscience. And yet in 1864, the Sand Creek Massacre, 750 Colorado volunteers of the 3rd Colorado Cavalry under the command of Colonel John Shivington, a Methodist pastor, attack a
pastor, John Shivington, and I bet you that in Colorado there are statues of this man. All right, I'm sure there is. All right, but I wanted to pause it so you can read what's happening here. And now you can hear him say it.
Cheyenne and Arapaho village at Arapaho. The soldiers scalped the victims, sliced off women's breasts, cut out their vaginas, cut the testicles from the men, cut off fingers, raped dead women in relays. And the soldiers scalped the victims, sliced off women's breasts, cut out their vaginas, cut the testicles from the men, cut off fingers, raped dead women in relays. John Shivington, a Methodist pastor, attack a Cheyenne and Arapaho village at Arapaho. The soldiers scalped the victims, sliced off women's breasts, cut out their vaginas, cut the testicles from the men, cut off fingers, rape dead women in relays, and use big village at Arapaho. The soldiers scalp the victims, slice off women's breasts, cut out their vaginas, cut the testicles from the men, cut off fingers, rape dead women in relays, and use scalp the victims, slice off women's breasts, cut out their vaginas, cut the testicles from the men, cut off fingers, rape dead women in relays, and use baby toddlers as target practice.
And use baby toddlers as target practice. So look at your little niece, your son, your daughter, your nephew, your grandchild, that 2-year-old, 1.5-year-old, 3-year-old toddler that's just running around. And they used them as target practice as they were running around, stumbling around, probably crying and wondering where their parents were. These people are cruel and wicked beyond measure. And the ones here are the sons and daughters of them, and their spirits are just like those of their ancestors. And you're going to see that really soon. As a matter of fact, with the ones in charge that are forcing all these draconian laws, they're showing you already. And then it said they raped the dead women in relay. They ran trains on dead women, cut off their breasts, cut off their vaginas, cut the testicles off of men. And these were white Christians being led by their pastor, John Shibington. Let's go to the scriptures. To the book of Galatians 6 and 7. And it reads, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Yeah. "For he that soweth to his flesh shall of his flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting." And we know that that's not them. They reap to their flesh. And now the same thing is going to happen to them, double according to the scripture. Revelation 18:6. Matter of fact, let me just get it. And they want to get rid of what they call critical race theory. It's not theory, it's history. You know? Theory. Oh, it's history. This is how you got your big house. This is how you got your land and your wealth that you're able to pass on for generations. You're able to put up schools and banks and things all in your favor that operated for people like you, that you're able to pass on from generation to generation. These are the acts that helped you get there. This is Revelation 18:6. "Reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled, fill up to her double." So everything that they just did here is going to get double, minus the abominations, because nobody's going to run trains on women or have sex with dead women. And that show you're right. These Christians, that's these Christians for you.
163 Indians are killed, and 110 of them are women and children. And medals are given out.
Medals.
Interesting contrast. These savages who are merciless and who know no bounds. All of a sudden, it's different in 1864. Now it's white folk doing it. Interesting contrast. 1802. "What is the right of the huntsman to the forest of 1,000 miles over which he has accidentally ranged in quest of prey? Shall the fields and valleys which a beneficent God has formed to teem with the life of innumerable multitudes be condemned to everlasting barrenness?" John Quincy Adams. Again, one of the founders of the U.S. who talk about a Western European conception of the use of land as being the only appropriate one. And foist that perception on any and all who come.
This is James 2 and 13. For he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment.
This is the appropriate use of land. This is the appropriate understanding of a development trajectory in life. 1812. Is one of the fairest portions of the globe to remain in a state of nature, the haunt of a few wretched savages, when it seems destined by the Creator to give support to a large population and to be the seat of civilization?
A few wretched savages, he said. There were over 500 million estimated natives throughout the Americas. When's the last time you seen a native in your city? In your big urban cities? You only see them in rural places. The few that you do see, and they live on reservations, which are far worse than any project that you could ever imagine. Any housing project. And we all know the housing projects in America are pretty rough. Not very hospitable, not very lavish. And these reservations are a lot worse. A lot of them don't even have running water or toilets in their houses. They still use outhouses. While you stole Florida and California, and build your houses on the cliffs and then on the hills, and Pensacola, living lavishly. And you think it's not going to be a recompense for that?
Interesting. The contrast. There's no civilization here, so we'll bring it. It's not being used, so we'll use it.
It was being used. All that is a lie. Demonization for justification of their wickedness.
It seems destined by the Creator. The idea of the godless heathen savage. In this particular land, as the Jesuits arrived...
See, so the godless heathen savage. It's okay to scalp them. It's okay to cut off their inward part, cut out, open, off their inward parts, their private parts. It's okay to kill their children, to rape their women. It's okay. They're godless heathen savages. That's what the word Indian means, by the way, for those of you who are proud of that title. Indian means savage. So, kill all the niggers and the savages. They're all the same. And funny thing, back in the 1600s, they were considered the same. And guess what? They are. They're the same bloodline, the same people.
Here, and as our ancestor Gitchisagamo member two is baptized just down the coast at Port Royal on June 24th, 1610. Within a short space of time, their description of the land is this barren wilderness, this untamed place, unusable, a land, as they would say, that Satan himself had forsaken. Interesting perception that sets a trajectory toward a particular notion of whiteness as the only means by which appropriate use, civilization could be.
Something that they made up once again in the 1600s, 1681 in Virginia was the first time in history where in documentation anywhere in the world where you found something referred to as white people, all right? Prior to that, there was no such thing. They made it up, all right? And then what came along with it was white superiority doctrines and science to back up the lies and the doctrines, all right? But this is Ezekiel 25 and verse 12. And it reads, Thus saith the Lord God, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance and greatly offended and revenged himself upon them, because see, this was revenge. Hey, God damn it. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. So vengeance is coming by the hand of the, so the very people you did this to are going to do it back double. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Awashai by Hashem Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala.